Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Cinnamon Stitches. I'm your yarn host Jennifer, and today is, I think today's Wednesday in your world? Yeah, it should be. I'm tired. I'm so discombobulated. I am. It's been a heavy weekend. I'm just tired. I'm tired. My body is hurting. I'm tired. Couple things we're going to talk about today, because I was trying to figure out what we're going to talk about today. I'm getting a lot of questions on these things, so we're just going to talk. Okay, we're going to talk about these because I've had a lot of people say they've either told me their opinion on theirs or what the ones that they have, or they have asked questions like, how does it work? Does it work for skeins? Does it work for bigger balls of yarn? And I'm going to grab some big balls and we're going to test them and I'm going to show you. And I'm not going to crochet off of them because I have been crocheting off of them. And I'm going to tell you what my honest opinion is after using them for the past couple of days. Well, I haven't used them the past couple of days, but I used them last week. So I'm looking around because I'm trying to see, I want to see something. I want to see how big of a ball it will hold without falling off, or will it still spin with the big ball of yarn. So I got the Pound of Love. That ain't Pound of Love. That's not Pound of Love. The Just 1 Pound from Premier Yarns. I want to see, will it hold up to a pound of yarn? Because I've had people ask, will it hold up to the bigger skeins? Will it fit the bigger skeins? This one I think will without a problem. Will it still spin freely? I have no idea. And I'm going to tell you. I have been using these because I used up, you remember last week I made the magic cake on my spinny thing, on my ball winder? I made a shawl out of the magic cake. I'll show you that on Monday. But I put a magic cake on there and it was about a 10-ounce cake. Worked just fine. I also had the question, does it hold skeins? Yes, because I knit a hat. It works with skeins. Does it use the big, heavier balls? Does it work with this? Does it work with... I'm going to try to answer those questions. And we're just going to... Well, let me show you what's what, okay? So, this is a full pound of yarn, right? Is it going to work with this? One of the complaints I had a couple of times from this style is a couple people were complaining that their magnet fell out or their magnet was not strong enough. This magnet is pretty strong. I mean, I had to shake that pretty hard to disconnect. Like, it's pretty strong. I don't know that this is tall enough. Probably not tall enough to hold this big giant ball of yarn. I'm going to say that's a no. So it doesn't hold a pound of yarn. This one might. Let me find the center. If I can get it in the center. It's real tight in the center. It's real tight. Does it still spin? Okay, so if you're working with big balls of yarn, it's spinning on its own. Can you outer pull with these big balls? Yeah. Pound of yarn, no problem. Look at that. So this one holds a pound of yarn. This one will not. Okay. Next question. And actually, I wonder if 2 pounds will fit on there. Do I have another pound close by? Probably not. Because I put them up here. Come on, come on. Fall, fall. Got it. Alright. Let me find the center first. Or a center. Alright, so it will hold 2 pounds and you can still use it. That's this one. Okay. Then the question is, I will link both of these contraptions below. Remember, I did not purchase either one of these I was gifted them from a subscriber on the channel for the purpose of she wanted me to have them and use them and to make my life a little bit easier, which is fantastic. And I'm going to give you my opinions on them. So, does this work with skeins or just cakes? Oh, I see the yarn even got caught in there. It works really well with either. That's just an average size skein. Cakes work good on it. Same deal. You just outer pull. Oh, that spins even better. Like I said, I have used both of these over the past week, and I have switched back and forth between them for various projects. Even some of the projects you saw in Last Monday Makes Videos. Trying to grab different size balls, but I like them both. And my personal opinion on them, I like them both the same because they both do the same thing. This, I have sat on the couch because I have a little rotating table on my recliner couch, and this just sits on my table and it's out of the way and it doesn't move, and it spins so freely that when I'm crocheting, you know how you're crocheting, right? You're going along, or knitting, and you're going along, right? And you hit a part where like the yarn, and then you got to do that long pull to get the yarn to come out. Didn't have to do that, because it's just falling off the ball. Also another thing that, now cakes, some of the cakes, depending on how they were caked up, the only problem I had is if the cake, because this one is a prime example, see how some of it is wound on the bottom side? The weight of the cake, I would have to give it a little extra pull to get it out from under here. But other than that, I mean, it pulls so easily. It just, see, it was stuck in the bottom. Actually, that's part of the inside of the ball. Where's the outside? The outside's somewhere right there. I had zero problems pulling that at all. Every once in a while it would get stuck in here, and I would just have to, I wouldn't have to do the long yank like I do when I'm center pulling. And with this one of the concerns was, is the yarn going to get caught underneath here? This is slightly elevated above, and I did not have any problem with the yarn getting caught underneath there at all. Like, at all. Which was also one of my concerns, is it going to get under there and get caught? And it did not. So, I've had a lot of questions and a lot of comments about these two items. So I just wanted to give you guys a quick review and say, I recommend both of them. I will link them below. Like I said, I did have someone say that this is the Growling one. The one that says Growling as the brand. I did have someone say that their magnet came out. And, I assume you could just glue it back in there with like a heavy duty like epoxy, or I would probably use an epoxy. You could probably just use a really good wood glue too to stick it in there. I would not use hot glue, because if hot glue even like warms up slightly, it loses its stickability. Hot glue is not good for long-term things. Like, hot glue is good for craft projects, but not for something like this. You really want to use a good either wood glue or an epoxy or something to like give it a long-term like hold, you know. If you're one of the people that ordered one where your magnet fell out. But the magnet on this thing is like solid. Like, I got to give it a good yank to pull it out. But yeah, I really have enjoyed both of those. Alright, that's my review on those projects, because I've had so many people asking questions about those in particularly this week. In particular, this week I've had a lot of people, specifically this one. Probably because that's the one that's a lower price point, but both of them, I would recommend either one of them to you guys. I'm one of those people where I thought, I'm not going to use that. I center pull. I am a very specific center pull crocheter and knitter for that matter. And so I didn't think I would ever use one of these or need them. And then I realized how much easier it is. And not only that, this type of thing where your ball collapses from the inside and you have like a ball that's a floppy ball, that Kayla calls it a floppy ball, from Llama Mama Kayla. She calls it a floppy ball. I hate this. This irritates me. And when you're outer pulling, it doesn't collapse from the inside out. So it's still a sturdy, stiff ball. It's just smaller. And because I don't use a whole ball all the time. Like if I'm knitting a hat, that's like a half a ball. So for me, I kind of like the outer pull better. Maybe I didn't use this with a... I know I made something else and I used that because I've used it. It was my pumpkins and it was my other projects from last week. That's what I used it for, not the hat. Isn't this hat pretty though? I've been making stuff. So yeah, I think that answers everyone's questions, right? If you have any more questions about either of these things, you can put them in the comments below. I will try to answer them. I have been absolutely using both of those. And like I said, I saw this one on the Secret Yarn and I was like eyeballing. I was like, that's nice looking. It looks cool. And then for it to show up in the mail was just hilarious. I was like, that was just like so perfect. Because I just was thinking about it. Oh, it was gifted to me. So thank you again for sending these both to me. Yeah, I'm not... and a lot of the comments were like, well, I center pull. Well, I'm also one of those people where when someone would suggest to me, I'm going to be real honest with you, I get stuck in my own ways. And I get stuck in doing the same thing the same way because it works. Or you think it works. And I've been a center puller from the get-go because that's what I've always seen. Like, my mom was a center puller. She didn't have nothing like this. And if she had like a ball of yarn, she would put it in a coffee can, you know, with the lid, with the little hole poked out. You guys all know these tricks. These tricks are not new. I've seen all those tricks too. Mr. Cinnamon has made me things where he has made like a cool yarn box and it's got holes in it and like the yarn came through the hole. It worked, yes, but it did not work as well as some of these other newer things that are on the market that are working, and they just make my job easier. I don't think we realize how much strain until we get an injury that we are putting on our bodies by doing things repetitively. Long-term crochet can cause injury. Ask me how I know. I'm currently under... I am under doctor's care trying to figure out what is wrong with my neck, what is wrong with my arms, what is wrong with my elbow specifically. And a lot of these things are circling back to crocheting and knitting and spinning too much. And if I'm going to have something that's going to, cause less wear and tear on my arms, my body, my neck, and just make it easier for me to crochet with less effort, I'm going to do those things. And when I'm gifted things that make my job easier without me knowing that they were going to make my job easier, it makes it just so much more special to me. You guys look out for me a lot. And even when I am hesitant, because I have been told about these for the past 2 years. And I keep saying, I don't outer pull, I center pull. And I've had a bunch of you say, you will thank me if you just outer pull and like it's easier. I don't, and I get some of you who come across a little bit yarn snobbery, which is fine. I don't center pull. Okay? So I'm the same way. I'm yarn snobbery in response, like, well, I only center pull. We get stuck in our own way and we get stuck in, well, it works, I'm going to keep doing it. What if there's an easier way, even though you think what you're doing works just fine? Sometimes you gotta think outside the box. Because I'm one of those people, I get stuck in my way. I get stuck in my way. It works. Why would I do something different? It works. Because when I was using this and I realized I wasn't doing the extra strong pull motions to get the yarn stuck from out of the center of the ball from center pulling, and it was literally just falling off onto my project, and I wasn't doing this, and I'm having health issues to begin with, I appreciated this so much more than I would have appreciated it 2 months ago. Because I wasn't having all the problems I'm having now. So, just saying. Sometimes you gotta listen to other people even though you think you're right all the time. I'm saying this talking to myself. Because, you know, even Cinnamon Stitches doesn't have all the answers. I really don't. And I get stuck and I'm like, well, I know what works for me. No, I don't. I need to learn to listen. That's one of my biggest flaws is I don't listen. So with that, definitely think outside the box with some of these products I'm showing you. I have also showed these on the channel countless times. This doesn't really help me crochet faster or easier or take any strain off of my body, with the exception of I don't have to chase yarn balls that are flying across the room, and my yarn isn't getting dog hair in them. So these are also things that I've shown on the channel. Some people are really hesitant to these too because they're like, well, I have a yarn bowl. I understand that. If you have a yarn bowl you love, and yarn bowls are not cheap, I understand that. But if you have dogs or cats or gerbils or even birds, because birds can leave them low feathers around. If you have any sort of animal that sheds anything, if you got a snake that sheds its skin, I mean, you're probably not going to get that stuck in your yarn, but I mean, it's still something to consider. This is the Yarnet, and this is the Big Soli, and it's basically an enclosed yarn bowl. This one, and these both came with rubber bases, and I don't use the rubber base because I don't find that it slides across the table. So I have misplaced the rubber bases. I don't even know where they're at. Because I just put this, I set it wherever I'm going to set it. I throw my yarn there, and then I could feed it through the top, or I could feed it through one of the holes in the front. And it's got a hinge on it. It holds pretty big size balls. This one was definitely more money. This is Big Soli. It's still the same company. This has a lot more holes in it. So there's a hole here, hole here, hole here, hole here. There's 2 holes on either end. There's holes on the top, and then there's gauge holes on here for your different size knitting needles or crochet hooks for that matter. And the thing that's different about this one is it has an insert in case you want to use 2 different balls of yarn. It keeps them separated. But it also has, and I think I have misplaced it, it has a bar that hooks in across the middle here. Straight across the middle like this. It's just a plastic bar that connects into these holes. So you can put a skein and outer pull from the skein with this too. So I have never used this for that purpose though. I think this would not be as efficient as one of these. But yeah. So even if you think you have all the answers and you know that you're not going to use something, you might actually find something useful like that. Anyway. So that's what's going on in Cinnamon Stitches land today. I just wanted to give a re-review on these because I've had so many people comment, well, which one do you like better? I like them both, but for different reasons. I think they're both handy as a shirt with a pocket. They both work about the same. They spin really easily. The difference is this is a magnet, and you saw if I shook it real hard, it came loose. But it did not come loose while I was working with it at all. Like, it didn't. And it wasn't banging and making any noises because I wasn't like pulling. I was just letting the yarn fall off. And I've used this one more than this one just because I've only been working with one specific color. I haven't been doing color work or anything. This one would be fantastic if I was making one of my blanket patterns like the Boggy Blanket or Luke's Blanket, where I was using 2 colors alternatively, this would work fantastic for that. But I haven't needed it, but I have used it and tested it out with just 1 single thing of yarn. And as you see, it holds up to a pound of yarn and still spins pretty freely. I mean, 2 pounds of yarn, you make a whole blanket with 2 pounds of yarn. So there's that. I'm not trying to talk you into buying anything you don't need or you cannot afford. I am just trying to answer some more questions and provide some more information that was given to me on these things, because I did not purchase these. I did not set out to purchase these. I was gifted these and I found them to be really useful. And if you have any sort of tennis elbow, it helps with that because you're not doing the yanking back. If you have any kind of like where you're struggling to get the yarn out of the center of the ball, you struggle with center pulling, you get a lot of yarn barf, it really does help to outer pull. And I really was stuck on the idea that that was stupid. I really was. But like a lot of things, I was wrong. And I really like outer pulling. And even with the cakes, I was like, I'm not going to outer pull a cake because cakes are literally made to center pull them. I made this cake and I outer pulled it. And I was glad that I did because I like the way the colors look better. Like the outer part when I was making the magic cake. If you haven't watched that video, go back and watch it. These are scraps that I caked up together and made a cake of yarn. My own magic cake. The colors that were on the outside of the ball were shorter strands. So I knew the color wasn't going to go as far. And because I was making a shawl, you know when you start a shawl towards the neck, those rows are shorter and the rows get longer as you go down the shawl, right? I knew that if I would have center pulled with this cake specifically, this gold would not have made it across the whole outer part of the shawl. And so I knew that I needed to outer pull. The problem with outer pulling cakes is you have to leave it on like a lower surface and pull up so that it unravels up and off. But I didn't have to do that with this. I just sat it on there and it just like fell off and just, it was so much easier. Made my life so much better. Had they had something like this when Premier had the bobbins out, that would have made everybody's life easier. I think that's the one thing Premier failed at, is they released those really cool bobbins, but they didn't give us a way to get the yarn off of the bobbin freely. Like something like this contraption would have been fantastic for the bobbin. And I tried the paper towel holder. That was another thing. Is everybody's like, did you try a paper towel holder to use your... Yeah, paper towel holders don't spin like this. They're stationary. For the most part, the paper towel spins around. It's as much strain trying to get the yarn off of a paper towel holder as it is just setting it on the floor. Unless you have a fancy paper towel holder that actually spins, but I don't. I have one that's just stationary. My paper towel holder literally is like this. It doesn't do anything. So to get the yarn to spin on a piece of wood, it's not going to happen. Or even metal. And I did use a paper towel holder for the bobbin, and it worked for a little bit, but then it just got irritating. So, with that. Yeah. Made my life a little bit easier using that, even with a cake. Even with the cake. Because it just sits there and it keeps everything, you know, where it's supposed to be. I will link both of these below. They are affiliate links because I am an Amazon affiliate. I'm also going to add them to my storefront on Amazon. If you don't know what that is, I literally took all of my favorite things that I get asked about most frequently and I put them in a storefront. I'm not actually selling the products. They are not coming from me. They are coming from Amazon, but Amazon lets us put up a storefront is what they call it. We put items that might be of use to other people. It's an affiliate thing. And I just put it there because I want it to be all in one place because I'm tired of going to Amazon and researching out my favorite things. Because I get asked, oh, that hook is amazing. My hooks, for example. I use a lot of hooks that I got from Amazon. This is a Merit hook. This is Omi. These two are also Omi. And so because of that, I was getting a lot of questions like, what's up with your hook? Where'd you get it from? I need that hook. That hook's beautiful. I get it a lot, specifically on the Omi hooks. I just made it a storefront. I put all of the things that I myself have purchased off Amazon that I have either showed on the channel or I use on the channel, and the things that are my favorite things. And I tried to put some other things on there that I've used that are like the cheaper version, so that I know that not everybody can afford the $60 one, but the $20 one might be more affordable. So I try to keep that in mind on my storefront, and I try to put my ball winder, I put my ball winder in there. My ball winder was $100 and some. I know that not everybody can afford that, so I also put my old ball winder, which was loud, but it did the job, and it was a pretty good ball winder. I put that one in there because that one was $40, I think. So if I have used it and I have tested it, that's the only thing that I put in my Amazon shop. I don't put anything in there that I have not tested out and don't use myself. And it's not stuff, and it's stuff I use on a regular basis. I'm like, hey, like for example, this is another thing that was gifted to me that I didn't know I needed. If I can get it out of the drawer. I have two of these. One of these was gifted. One of them I purchased. This is a hook case for my pencil. It's a pencil / art case. It holds all the big hooks. It holds a lot of hooks. I did a whole review on this pencil case. I have two of them because I have a lot of hooks. I also have this in my Amazon shop. And the reason I have it in there is because it was gifted to me, and I realized that I didn't want to ever live without one of these. So I have two of them. I have the avocado one and I have the bee one. So if you're ever interested in anything I show on the channel, first thing you do is you go to the description box and you look for where it says my Amazon store. Click on it. It will show you pretty much everything I have shown you on the channel. Everything I use on a regular basis is in there. And I do update it when I can. So I need to go in and update it for these things. But until I update the store for that, these will be linked individually in the description box below if you're interested in either of those. It doesn't cost you anything to click the link. It's not. Amazon just gives me here's a thank you bonus for recommending us, and they gave me a couple pennies on every purchase. And it's, if you click that Amazon link, it doesn't matter what you purchase on Amazon through clicking that link, I will get credit that you clicked my link. So, and it doesn't matter if it's in my store, it doesn't matter what it is. Like if you clicked on it and you ordered popsicles for your child, your grandson, your granddaughter, your niece, your nephew, I will get credit that you bought popsicle. I mean, you can't buy popsicles through Amazon, but that's a weird example. You know what I'm saying? Anything. Doesn't have to be stuff specifically that I linked. If you click it, and if you add more stuff to the cart, and you complete the purchase, Amazon gives me credit. Because I know a lot of people have questions about, well, how does that actually work? Or I'll get an email. I placed an order. I clicked your link for Premiere. I hope you got credit for it. I do, because those are traceable links. They are. It says, hey, this link came from Cinnamon Stitches, and it linked you to our page. And I don't know if you know this, but when you click on things, the whole internet is keeping track of you, okay? If you click a link off of Facebook that takes you to YouTube, YouTube registers it. Oh, this link came from Facebook. Like, the whole internet does that. So, I don't know if you're aware of that. Everybody knows where you came from. I have statistics on the channel that says X amount of people watched you from their homepage. X amount of people watched you because you came up next in the videos and they watched you from there. X amount of people watched you from external links from Facebook, from YouTube, from Google, from how many people, X amount of people searched out the name Cinnamon Stitches on Google, and that's how they got to your YouTube. So all of that stuff is recorded in databases all over the world. In case you didn't know that. Now you know. I'm educating you on that. Including any of the links that are below any channel on here. It just says, you know, hey, we're going to give Cinnamon Stitches credit because she clicked your link. Or give X, Y, and Z credit because you clicked their link or whatever. So it's a really easy, simple way to support your podcasters, whoever your favorite podcasters are, whether it's me or someone else. It helps all of us. That little 10 cents here, 80 cents there, $1.50 here, that adds up, and it really, really does help support the channel and support the people who are giving you the content. So, in case you ever wondered about those links. Now, with that, I'm going to let you go because my husband is going to be home from work any minute now, and I would really like to get this video uploaded. I'm probably going to go just sit back on the couch. I have had a hankering to work on the spinning wheel because it's been a while. I'm going to wait and see how I feel with that because I'm really tired. In case you have not watched any of the videos this week, it was a really insane weekend. We did a lot in a short amount of time, and it takes a toll on everybody's body. Like, even little man is wiped out and exhausted. He had a concert on Friday, but in between the concert on Friday and the Halloween party at Disney World on Sunday, he also did a lot of driving in the car. And even though he was just the back passenger, it takes a toll on your body traveling. It just does. It makes you tired. It makes you swollen. It makes you uncomfortable. It makes you cranky sometimes. So Mr. Cinnamon, Little Man, and my niece Hermione, they did the concert on Friday in North Carolina, then the Halloween party on Sunday in Orlando and Disney World. And then we all, as a pack, drove back home the 12-hour drive in one single day, which in itself is, I cannot imagine. We were watching the truckers and I was like, I'm so tired. I don't know how people could be truckers. And I know a few of you are truckers or retired truckers. Thank you, because you guys are so overlooked. People get irritated with truckers. They get mad at truckers because, and there's a really bad stigma with truckers that truckers are like dirty, filthy people, and they're not. My dad was a trucker. I don't know if you knew that. My dad drove semi. He drove, well, he was in logistics for a long time, where he was driving like local, driving a truck, and his truck varied from delivery to delivery. And then the last 5 or 10 years before he passed away, he was driving a semi, and he drove a tanker, and he drove a regular like boxed semi, and he still had a dedicated local run. But it's a hard life, you know. It's lonely. It's really lonely to be in a truck by yourself. And yeah, you get to see some beautiful stuff. You really do. My Uncle Ralph, he was a truck driver. He drove every week from Georgia to California and then back. So he drove along Highway 10, which is a beautiful stretch of land. There are some beautiful things in those Southwest states specifically. And I don't even know if he's still alive because I have no contact with my dad's family after my dad passed away. But he said he's probably gonna die in his truck. Like, he cannot imagine being at home. And I know that that's the life for a lot of people, but I cannot even imagine. I cannot imagine being stuck in a vehicle like that. That just sounds torturous to me. So if you know somebody who's a trucker, thank them on my behalf for their work and for their service to us, getting us all the goods and supplies that we use every day in our life. Everything you buy from any store anywhere comes from a delivery person or a trucker. Everything in your house, everything, the clothes on your back were delivered from somebody driving a truck of some sort. The gas in your car is being driven by a truck, like a tank. So I will say all of that, and then I'm going to follow it up with the story of a truck driver who tried to kill us last night. I laugh now, but it was terrifying. Alright, so the review part, this is not crochet, this is a story Mr. Cinnamon told me to share with you. We were driving in 2 separate vehicles home, so it was me and Juju in her car, and I was driving, and Mr. Cinnamon had my niece and my son in his car. My son is 10, my niece is 20. Almost 21. And in Carolina. Was it North Carolina? No, it was somewhere in the Carolinas. We split ways and went on 2 different freeways because he was taking my niece home to college. Oh no, little man was with me. Little man was with me. We stopped, I think, in South Carolina. It was somewhere around the Carolinas. I think it was South Carolina because the freeway split. We stopped for dinner. We grabbed food. And little man got in the car with me and Juju, and it was Mr. Cinnamon and my niece going. They went west, and we stayed north on 95. And the weather got really bad. Like, it was pouring. I couldn't see in front of me. And the windshield wipers could not keep up with the rain. Well, I'm driving, and the trucker on the side of us waved at Juju. Don't know why. And he was driving a farmer's, it was Farmer's Furniture or something like that. It was a furniture store, but it was called Farmer's something Furniture or something like that. He waved at her, and she had her arms in her shirt because she was cold. But he waved at her, don't know why. Well, we're driving neck and neck like this, and I slowed up a little bit because it started to pour. And it was only like a second, so I was like right at his blind spot, but he just waved at us, so he knew we were there. He immediately put on his blinker. So I'm like, I'm getting out of his way. So I sped up to get in front of him, like get up enough so that I could give him room to get over. Because my dad always told me, like, there's 2 things that you need to make extra room for: motorcycles and truckers. Because truckers can't stop. It takes them way longer to stop that amount of weight. And bikers need the same length of bubble around them that a car would need. So don't ride up on them and don't slam stop in front of them. You could possibly kill somebody on a motorcycle. My dad also had a bike, so he had a Harley Davidson. So I always give those 2 people extra respect because I do that because of my dad. So I sped up to get behind him. And he took that moment where it was pouring down rain so much I couldn't see 5 feet in front of me to absolutely get over and just barrel on our rear end. And I am trying to speed up to get over because there was a car in front of where he had just, like, there was him and there was a car in front of him. So he's trying to get around that car. So I sped up to get in front of that car so that he could get, so I'm out of his way because he was driving so fast. He had to have been doing 80. Now, he shouldn't have been doing 80 to begin with, but he sure shouldn't have been doing 80 in that weather. It was, you couldn't see, and it's a 2-lane highway, and there's trees lining both sides. And, I mean, he was barreling at us. And I am going as fast as I can to get out of his way because he's going to kill us. And I even said out loud, I said, this guy's trying to kill us, which, of course, I shouldn't have said that out loud, but I was scared. I couldn't get out of his way fast enough. And the rain is just pouring, and like his headlights were just getting closer and closer. I finally got up enough speed. I had to get above 82 to get out of his way. Get in front of the car that was in front of him, because now this jerk is going to go faster to not let me over. I get over. He just like takes off. He was going so fast. I very quickly, going 65 miles an hour, lost track of how far ahead of us he was. He was gone. And I was like, that guy's a moron. He's going to kill somebody. And so, like often happens on the highway, you will see people over and over again. Like either the flow of traffic changes and then you catch up to people that passed you, or they catch up to you, or they will make a pit stop to go to the bathroom, they get back on the freeway, you see them again. It happens all the time. And usually I keep track of cars that are unique or different, or specific trucks, so that I just keep an eye on them. Like, oh, I saw them already. Oh, we saw them already. So about 2 hours down the road, and the rain started to let up again. And I started to pick up speed, and I was driving at a safe speed, but I was speeding. I was trying to get home. I was tired. And it's getting dark out and the rain had just let up. I'm trying to make up a little bit of time. I wasn't driving dangerously, but I was speeding a little bit, as everyone on the freeway does. And apparently that truck had slowed down or stopped at some point, because Mr. Cinnamon called me on the phone and I no sooner answered it, and I hadn't talked to him since this whole incident happened. I started to tell him,
do you want some tacos, Mexican food?
You can't wait till I'm done with this video? You can't wait till I'm done with this video?
Just order and go get it right now.
I don't know what I want right now. Just give me 5 minutes.
Okay.
I hadn't talked to him since the incident had occurred. And so he called me on the phone, and I'm talking through the phone on the dash. And I no sooner started to tell him the story about the trucker that tried to kill us, and he pops up in front of us. And me and Juju both screamed, "There he is! There he is!" And Mr. Cinnamon's like, "What is going on?" And I'm like, it literally felt like he was trying to just mow us down. Like, what, the fact that he waved and then barreled on top of us like that, why would you do that unless you're crazy? And I've seen too many scary movies, and it had nothing to do with him being a trucker. It was just the actions that he was taking scared me. And I was driving faster than him. So I get up alongside of him. I'm like, I am getting in front of him and I'm getting away from him. So I'm just cruising on. The second he saw our car, he did the same thing and got up behind us again. I'm like, baby boy, it ain't raining no more. I'm out. And I just floored it. I got as far away from him as I could, as quick as I could. And I knew in her little sports car, it's not a sports car. It's not, but it feels like a sports car because it's little and it's got a little, kick. She growls when you push on the pedal. I bolted out of there. I'm like, I'm gone. You are not doing that to me again. And I was speeding a lot at that point because I was getting away from this guy. He's going to kill somebody on the road. But it was terrifying. And Mr. Cinnamon's like on the phone with me the whole time. He's like, what's going on? What's going on? And I'm explaining to him what happened. And I'm like, this guy tried to kill us. Like, there's no way he should have been driving like that. I didn't do anything to even engage him with road rage. I just was driving in the rain. For him to barrel up on us like that, I mean, it was terrifying. I could not wait to get home after that point. I was like, I just want to get home. I want to get out of this car. I don't want to ever be in a car again. It was scary. So, with that story, I'm going to end it here. And I will see you tomorrow. I think I'm going to wait until tomorrow to film tomorrow's video, because I'm recording this Tuesday. You'll see it Wednesday. So on Wednesday, I'm going to record Thursday's video, and I'm just going to play everything by ear. I actually gave Little Man off school today. I decided to cancel school for today because we both are exhausted. And it's kind of cool because he's like, thank you so much, Mommy. Like, I'm really tired. I don't want to go to school today. And I'm like, I don't either. I don't want to get up early. And he ended up sleeping till 10, which was good. Usually I wake us both up at 9 and we get ready. We start school at 10, but he slept until 10. And I'm just taking it real easy today. My feet and my legs hurt really bad. They're really swollen. And I had to miss a couple of doses of the medicine my doctor put me on for the pain in my arms and my neck. And because of that, the pain is coming back with a vengeance. But I couldn't take it and drive the car because it causes drowsiness, and it says do not operate machinery when you're on this medication, and I'm not about to risk anybody's life by me driving on that pill. So I just didn't take it for a couple days. So yeah, and I have a couple of imaging appointments to go to today, so I'm just gonna go sit and chill out. Apparently Mr. Cinnamon wants to go get Mexican food, but which is fine because there's nothing in the house. I have to go to the grocery store as well because there's nothing to eat. Nothing that me and Juju can eat anyway. There's gluten in there, but it can help me and Juju. So, with that, I'm going to let you go. Hopefully I will see you tomorrow with new content. If not, we're just going to play everything by ear and just going to take it easy this week. No pressure channel anymore. And, yeah, I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.